Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome to yet another lecture of our CSS English Essay lecture series. Before this lecture, we have talked about several things in which include the structure of the basic structure of the CSS essay. Okay, then we talked about how to write an outline, what is the proper method of writing an outline. Then we talked about argumentative essays, how to build arguments, and today we are going to talk about proverbial or literary essays. Okay, various students have asked that how should we attempt these sort of essays. Okay, proverbial or literary essays. I mean, students simply don't know. I mean, when such sort of topic comes up, they have a pretty clear idea that what this topic means, but they don't know. They don't know how to go about attempting this topic, attempting such sort of topics. So it is necessary, that students must have a clear understanding as to what these topics are, how to decode such topics, and then how to attempt these topics. Okay, so moving on, how to approach a proverbial or literary essay. So there are various steps to it. Okay, there are various steps and you should be familiar with those steps before you choose the topic. Okay, because in a lecture I told you that you need to choose the topic very judiciously in CSS essay. Okay, you don't have to jump on a topic right from the word go. Okay, you have to narrow down the topics which you're going to choose, and then from out of 2 to 3 topics you're going to choose one topic after brainstorming. But since we are at proverbial or literary essays, let's suppose that a student is thinking about attempting a proverbial or literary essays, then before jumping on, what things he should be considering. Okay, and the first thing is that he should be choosing the topic only if he has understood the topic properly. So let me tell you that on the face of it, it seems pretty much like student feels that this topic he's gonna nail this topic. Okay, he's gonna nail this topic. I mean, this topic is coming generally, it naturally to him on the exam day. But believe me, never ever jump on the topic when you're getting such vibes. Okay, just sit back for a moment, analyze the topic. I mean, analyze the different symbols in the particular topic, in a proverbial or literary topic, and then only you will find out that whether you have enough material to write about, let's suppose, 2500 words on the topic. So never jump on such topics, even if you feel that you are getting a feeling that you can attempt this topic right from the word go. So things to understand, that understand the symbol of the words in the proverb. Let's suppose an essay, a topic comes up. Let's suppose that Rome was not built in a day. So you have to understand the various symbols. This is a proverb: Rome was not built in a day. Similarly, other literary essays could also come up. Okay, so you have to decode those topics. I mean, these sort of topics, these topics are in the form of symbols. Okay, they are coded. Okay, they're coded words. Okay, you have to uncode the topics. Okay, you have to decode, sorry, you have to decode the topics before you jump on. I mean, you have to relate those topics to the real world. What do these topics signify in the real world? And if you think that okay, you can relate these topics back to the real world, only then you should be choosing. So understand the symbols of the word in the proverb. Most proverbs or ideas are symbolic. Okay, don't take them at their face value. First, try to understand what do these keywords, these symbols in literary phrases or proverbs stand for in the real life. Okay, just try to decode the symbols. I mean, they could be the name of a place, animal, thing, or a person. Okay, but they don't take this at a face value. They always, almost always, denote some sort of quality. Okay, they they denote some attribute and quality. So you have to decode it first before jumping on such topics. Okay, so what we effectively have to do is to try to understand that quality in the context of the proverb. Okay, I'll be discussing it with an example which will make it clearer as to what I mean by this. Okay, okay, the topic which I was alluding to was that, let's suppose the topic has come up in your exams: Rome was not built in a day. Okay, Now you have to decode this topic before you go about attempting an essay on this. Okay, now how do you decode this? You find out, you read the topic again and again. Okay, I would recommend that you read such topics which on the face of it, look very easy, and you are getting the feeling that okay, you can attempt it, you can easily write 2500 words. I would recommend, please read these topics 2 to 3 times. Okay, and try to understand, try to find out the key words which are in such sort of topics. Now in this topic, Rome is a keyword. Okay, and not built in a day is a key phrase. Okay, so you have to deconstruct, okay, the topic effectively. You have to effectively deconstruct the topic. Now what do Rome signify? Okay, Rome is, Rome is a noun, and it is the name of a place, as just we have discussed that, in proverbs or in literary essays, things, they are symbolic. So Rome represents, it's a name of a place. And what are the characteristics of Rome? You have to just brainstorm for a second. You know that it was a great city, okay, of its time, and it was unparalleled in grandiosity and marvelousness. Okay, so it was a great marvel of its time. Okay, so Rome effectively denotes, or it stands for, greatness or success. Okay, so you have to understand what the symbols mean in the real life. Now these are the two things which we have decoded right now. Okay, that we are going to talk something about greatness or success in our essay. Okay, but the job is half done yet. Okay, let me just clarify with one more example. I will discuss this topic in the next slide, just to make it clear. But for now, just remember that in this particular topic, we will be talking something about greatness or success. Okay, why? Because we have decoded the word Rome. Now let's suppose another topic shows up, which is all that glitters is not gold. So here once again we have to choose, we have to decode the keywords here. Gold is a keyword, and glitters. Okay, these are the keywords. Now gold once again is a noun, it is the name of a thing. Okay, just like I told you that these are symbolic in nature. So gold is a precious metal, so it stands for anything in the real life which is precious. Okay, which is prized or anything. Okay, so gold denotes the quality of preciousness in real life. Okay, so both of these topics are half decoded as of yet. Okay, we have not fully decoded them. In the first topic, we know that we are going to talk something about greatness or success, and in the second topic, we know that we are going to talk about something which looks, precious and attractive. Okay, but the rest of the topic, before we make the thesis statement, we have to decode the rest of the keywords also. So moving on, substitute, the next step is substitute the meaning in the idea or the proverb. Okay, so now in the context of the proverb, we will substitute the meaning. Take the two previous examples. Rome was not built in a day, and all that glitters is not gold. Now substitute the symbols we find out earlier in the sentences. Okay, now what was the symbol in the first topic? Rome. So we have substituted that with the what the symbol means in the real life. Okay, so greatness or success was not built in a day, and all that glitters is not precious. So we have substituted these keywords. Okay, we have effectively put them in the context of the proverb. Okay, now we have decoded this proverb to a great extent. Okay, and now we know what we are at. Okay, so excuse me. Now we know that, greatness or success, and we have to decode the second part, not built in a day. Okay, so this means that greatness or success cannot be achieved, not built in a day, cannot be achieved overnight. You have to work hard for it, you have to work long, you have to toil for, for anything. Okay, if you want to achieve greatness or success, you have to persevere. Okay, so that is what means not built in a day. Okay, that you can't achieve success or glory or greatness or similar attributes in your real life or in any other case. For example, if you're a businessman, if you're a politician, if you're being a nation, so these sort of things, these characteristics can't be achieved overnight. And this is what not the phrase not built in a day signifies. Okay. And the second one, all that glitters is not precious. This means that, sometimes things which look attractive, okay, on the face are not actually that much precious. They might be a facade. Okay. If we go beneath the veneer of such, seemingly attractive and precious things, we might not find the things which we were looking for. So it could be a facade. Okay. So all that glitters, okay, all that looks, glitters on the face of it, all those things which look precious are not actually precious. Okay, are not all that important. So we have to read between the lines. Sometimes we shouldn't be taking things at the face value. Okay, that is what the second proverb means. So this is how we decode a proverb or a literary phrase, so to speak. Okay, same techniques should be applied in, let's suppose, a literary phrase comes up. So third step is, before you start jumping on the topic, now we are assuming that we have understood the key words and phrases, and we know that how to relate them in the real life. Okay, now half of your job is done, when you are going to attempt a proverbial or a literary essay. But don't jump on the topic yet, because you don't know whether you are able to write, whether you will be able to write 2500 words or not. Okay, so before doing that, look for real life examples or illustrations. Okay, it could be any other topic, like sweet are the fruits of adversity, or if life throws lemon, make lemonade. So once you've decoded those topics, you have to look for real life examples. You have to brainstorm. Okay, that how can you relate these topics to the real life, real world. Okay, and only then jump on these topics if you feel that you have enough real life examples to write 2500 words. Okay, so believe me, most of the students make this mistake, that before they brainstorm that how they are going to, what they are going to write actually in this essay. Okay, I mean, most of the phrases you understand them. Okay, it's not that much important. But the real test is here. You have to understand that you are able to relate these topics in the real world. Okay, so we can look for examples from today's world, okay, which are happening as of now. It could be various success stories, or from the foregone eras. Okay, so we can refer back to the previous eras. We could, for example, for the proverb Rome was not built in a day, talk about the effort put in by Barack Obama. Okay, now this is just one of the examples. Okay, you can write anything provided that it satisfies the criteria that Rome, which is greatness or success, was not built in a day. Okay, so why have I have given this example? Because he was the first black president in the US. Okay, so it's not easy. Okay, because given different, I would say, different sort of, I mean, in the US, become a black man becoming a US president was something, out of the box. One couldn't just imagine that this could happen in this country, which was founded on the basis of racism. I mean, civil rights movement and all those things. Okay, so it took many years for him to build a career, to prove himself that he's worth it. He went to Oxford. Okay, or Harvard Law. Okay, he was a Harvard graduate in law. So it took many years for him to prove that it doesn't matter if he's a black or not. Okay, he is competent for the post, and he achieved it. Okay, and in his interview, it's a very interesting fact that in his interview, Voice of America's Indonesian service, Obama's third grade teacher said that he wrote in a class assignment that he wanted to be president. The assignment was called "What do you want to be when you grow up?" So just to put the things in context, Obama basically spent part of his childhood in Indonesia, Jakarta. Okay, and there he studied in a primary school. Okay, so if we imagine that he wanted to be a president right from his childhood, then we can know that he had some aim in his mind. Okay, and he persevered for it. Okay, like here, not built in a day. He had to put in too much effort. He had to persevere to achieve success or glory, which is Rome. Okay, so other examples at personal level could be Abraham Lincoln. We also know he was a common man and he became the president of United States. It could be Xi Jinping. Let's suppose we could say. Now remember that he was also from a humble background, in the sense that he was exiled, okay, to a western province, and there he used to feed the pigs in someone else's farms, okay. So he had a very humble beginnings, okay. He, if someone of you have read his biography, he was very fond of reading, okay. And he read the Karl Marx Communist Manifesto twice, okay, in his schooling years, okay. So these are his background, okay. Then he started off from the local bodies level at in the Chinese government setup, and it's a different setup from other countries, but it is democratic in the sense that people start from the local bodies level, okay. That though the terminologies are different, but then he became, he started climbing the ladder of Chinese political hierarchy, and ultimately he became a president. So you can also give examples of Jinnah or Idi, any other, but provided, remember, if you are giving the any other example, these examples need to have one thing in particular, okay. They should be success stories, which is obvious, okay, that. But the second part which the students miss is that not built in a day. So you can't write you know quick success stories. Like you can't put Mark Zuckerberg here. Let's suppose I'm giving an example, because just idea propped up and it just hit the roof and that's it, he became a billionaire. No, you won't be quoting such examples in this essay, because that these examples, such sort of examples, won't be supporting your stance. You will only put those examples which will be supporting your stance, and only those examples will be supporting your stance who have achieved something, but after consistent toil, hard work, and perseverance. And this is the controlling idea of your essay, not built in a day, okay. Moving on. So another thing is that if you are going to write about such things, it is very good that if it is very good if you have similar proverbs or quotations coming to your mind, okay, in such sort of essays. Like here, by Napoleon Hill, quote by Napoleon Hill: "Patience, persistence, perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." By Napoleon Hill is another is similar to "Rome was not built in a day." So your thesis statement for this topic could be something along these lines, okay? Like patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. That's it. I mean, these words indicate that not built in a day, and success indicates Rome. So in this thesis statement, you have clearly indicated to the examiner that you have understood all the key words and phrases of the topic, and you have been able to connect them to the real life, okay. So this could be your thesis statement, and it would be very good thesis statement. And similarly, the proverb, don't judge do not judge the book by its cover, is similar to all that glitters is not gold, okay. It's obvious. So in such sort of essays, it is useful if you are some ideas or some similar proverbs are coming up, okay. But don't try to squeeze in irrelevant proverbs or ideas, okay. Only write them if they are relevant, okay. Because if you write something irrelevant, that will cost you. But if you don't write anything irrelevant, then just keep it simple, that won't hurt you, okay. So only write these things to add up to your to make your essay more attractive, so to speak, if they are relevant, okay. Okay, moving on. So this is an uh, methodology or steps, 8 steps, which you can adopt to write an effective literary or proverbial essay. First, we discuss that understand the symbol of the words in the proverb, then substitute the meaning in the idea or the proverb. Okay, we discuss this in detail. Look for real life examples or illustrations. We discuss this in detail. Look for similar proverbs or ideas. This was the fourth step. And then these are the steps which have already been discussed, so I have not dedicated separate slides. Brainstorming the proverb or literary saying for generating ideas. Okay, you brainstorm to generate further ideas, to generate further real life examples, illustrations, examples, just to prove your stance. Okay, then you formulate an outline. After brainstorming, you just put the things in the relevant order, in the order of importance. Under the You categorize the thing. you excuse me, you categorize the thing under various heads, so just to write a formal outline. Then you need to give an impressive introduction in this sort of essay to the examiner using the techniques we already discussed, that is from general to narrow. And then you write the body of the essay and conclusion. Excuse me. So I hope these steps are clear. You can pause the video and write them down if you think that they will do you good, but we will move on. Now note, defining a proverb is not compulsory. Okay, you can also elaborate it in a way that makes the meaning of the proverb self-evident. But if you think it necessary to define, then go ahead. Okay, there's no harm in defining a proverb. Then there is no rule as such that the definition is prohibited. No. Okay, but if you think that you can uh, hit the hammer on the nail and and don't make it noisy too, then you can just indirectly refer to the meaning conveyed by the proverb or the literary you know phrase. Okay, but if you want to go ahead and make sure that you have secured yourself, you can also define the proverb. Okay, so there is no such black and white rule that you can't do this and you can do this. The thing which should matter is that you have conveyed to the examiner that you have understood what the topic means. You have clearly demarcated a boundary within which you are going to play. Okay, so that is done by deconstructing the topic. Okay, and if you think that you can deconstruct it by defining the proverb effectively, then you do that. Okay, but what you must do before writing the essay is that give the examiner a boundary. Okay, that I have understood the topic and I'm going to write within these bounds. Okay, that is effectively what is needed. Okay, be wary of the sources of proverbs or literary quotes when defining them. Okay, sometimes they are wrongly attributed to someone else. Okay, now it is not necessary once again to give the sources of proverbs. Okay, now let's suppose there is a proverb. We can take the similar proverb like Rome was not built in a day. I mean, it's difficult to trace the origins of this proverb. Okay, but if you are not sure about the origins, then don't mention them. Okay, don't wrongly attribute them to someone else. Okay, because examiner, he he's a literature student, and he will be knowing the sources. Okay, so he will be annoyed if you are wrongly attributing a quote or a phrase to someone else, instead of if you don't attribute it to anyone else and just go at defining the meaning or getting to the crux of the saying. Okay. Okay, we move on. So here is a caveat. Okay, a subtle difference, and this is where students often you know trap themselves, so to speak, in a cage. And this is where things get tricky. These are the make or break things. There is a difference between philosophical and literary essays. Okay, now I will tell you that the easiest of the essays are descriptive essays, or the traditional you know causes effect solutions essays. Then come the argumentative essays, which are slightly difficult. Then come the literary essays, okay, which are relatively difficult than argumentative essays, though the approach is same. We all in literary essays also we give arguments to build our stance, but they are difficult in the sense that students often find it difficult to interpret the topics and to generate or brainstorm real life situations or ideas. Okay, then come the philosophical essays. Now I warn my students that never go for philosophical students unless you are a literature student, or you have read extensively about these things, or you have some degrees in philosophy or something like that. Okay, like just it's obvious that why you shouldn't be going for philosophical essays. Like read these topics. These are philosophical topics. The pleasures of reading. Every art is an imitation of nature. The character of a nation can be judged by its symbolic narratives. and can meaning be fixed. Now, on the face of it, we understand every topic. Okay, we are understanding every topic. Anyone with the average English will understand what these topics mean. But to write 2500 words on such topics, believe me, 95% of the students won't make it unless they have solid academic background in such fields like literature or philosophy. So never ever go for it's my recommendation, never ever go for philosophical topics. On the other hand, literary essays or proverbial essays, they are difficult, but they can be managed. I mean, if you have enough vocabulary at your hand, at your disposal, and that after you have brainstormed, that you can write 2500 words, and you have constructed a thesis statement in such a way that you're not limiting yourself to a way to in a shell. Okay, you're not confining yourself to a shelf. You have given a thesis statement which is such that you have clearly conveyed your stance, and the thesis statement is broad enough to let you play in such a way that you are uh, within the bounds of the topic, and you are able to write 2500 words. So with effective thesis statement, you can write literary or proverbial essays like great nations win without fighting, beggars can't be choosers, sweet are the uses of adversity, if gold rust, what shall the iron do. Now these are also difficult topics, these are also tricky topics. I would recommend that you go for easier topics like traditional topics. Then if you don't find any traditional topics which you think you can attempt effectively, then you go for some argumentative essays. And if you think that even then there isn't any suitable topic for you, then go for such literary or proverbial essays. Because essay day, the exam in CSS essay exam is not a day where you experiment things. Okay, you only have to attempt one question, and you have to choose that question very very judiciously, very wisely, because once you have chosen the question, you have to make sure that you have chosen the right question. Because halfway, after 1 hour, if you find that you have chosen the wrong question, you won't be able to make amends for it. That's it, you are done. Okay, but in other exams, of they where there are four questions available of 20 marks, if you have chosen a wrong question, like on the face of it looked that okay, very well about it, but after 15 minutes you realize that, oh, you can't write enough on this topic, but you will still go on with that topic, and you can compensate it by attempting the other three topics in a very effective manner. So rest of the papers you can make compensation even if you have chosen a wrong topic. But in English essay exam, no, this luxury is not available. You have to choose the topic very carefully. मैं आपको वो उर्दू में एक लेट सपोज मिसाल दे देता हूँ कि हमारे एक उस्ताद ही थे, वो कहते थे कि यार CSS में बाकी 11 जो होते हैं वो तो पेपर होते हैं, इम्तिहान एक ही होता है, ठीक है? तो वाक़ई ऐसा है, ठीक है? मतलब आप इस स्टेज से गुज़रोगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि वाक़ई में, क्योंकि FPSC is using English essay as the screening criteria, okay? This is the criteria which they are using to screen out 95% of the candidates, just to make sure, just to determine that either, which of the aspirants are worthy of becoming a CSP officer. So you shouldn't be attempting any tricks or try to be different. You should be trying to play safe. Okay, but despite that, you should know, how to attempt different topics. You should be well equipped for the exam day. Okay, you should have all the bases covered. So once again, philosophical topics, I have discussed this already. Attempt them unless there is no other option available. Remember, I'm not talking about literary or proverbial essays. I'm talking about philosophical topics. Okay, use philosophical topics as your first option if you have strong academic background in literature or philosophy, have a great aptitude. Even if you don't have a major in literature or philosophy, you have read English literature, at your own pleasure, at your own ease, or on the exam day you're getting vibes that you can write 3000 words easily on such a topic. But once again, as I discussed, that these vibes, they can be a bit dangerous and tricky. So just for the sake of yourselves, please brainstorm on such topics, about which you're getting positive vibes for 5 to 7 minutes, and you will know it that okay, Either you can attempt or you can write 2500 words or not. Okay, so don't just jump on the topic because you are getting some uh, feelings, hunch feelings that okay, this is the topic which will give you, which will land you in 70 marks, which will give you 70 marks in CSS essay. Okay, so don't do these sort of tricks on the CSS essay exam day. So some useful tips on literary and proverbial essays: comprehend the topic statement. Once again, I told you guys that read the topic statement again and again and comprehend it from every facet before jumping it. So I elaborated it with example in the previous slides. Keep in mind three things when comprehending such a topic. Okay, this is very very important. The key noun, let's suppose all that glitters is not gold. Now the key noun is gold, something which is precious. Action verbs being used. Okay, like in the same example, the word glitters, okay, is an action verb. Okay, it says that okay, something which looks very precious or something which looks very important on the face of it. So these are the words which you should be understanding or try to comprehend in a very detailed manner. You should be looking at these words from different angles, that what do these mean. And lastly, the crux of the essay. Now let's suppose a topic came up in past papers, that too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Now many of the students misunderstood the crux of the essay. Okay, now many of the students just never understood the topic and they went on writing irrelevant about the topic. Many students just wrote about dreams, that we have dreams, this we don't have. Some people dream big, some people dreams. So they effectively misunderstood the key words, that what is the crux of the essay. They understood, what they understood was that the crux of the essay was about dreams. But if we read the statement clearly, for example 3 to 4 times, we will realize that the main crux of the essay is about fears. Okay, that why fears are inhibiting us from achieving our dreams, why people don't pursue their dreams. Why? Now the why thing is fear. Okay, so the essay is about fears, that fears inhibit people from, or they keep people from pursuing their dreams. Like it could be let's suppose fear of failure. Okay, at a personal level it could be fear of failure, that okay, what if things don't turn up. A lot of the people, I mean, to give you the example of CSS, a lot of the candidates after preparing for 1 year, they don't show up at the exam day just because they fear that okay, what if they don't make it this time. Let's spend another year on preparation and then appear. It could be the fear of it could be social pressure, the fear of society. Many people don't do some things because they think that okay, what will the people think, okay, what will your relatives think. So it could be that fear. It could be the fear of personal possessions being lost. I mean, you can relate the personal examples in your life, that where people don't take risks because they fear that whatever they have at hand, they might end up losing it. And people don't start up businesses. So these are the real life examples. So the main idea behind giving you these examples was that this topics the crux of this topic was about fears and not dreams. Dreams was just the main topic through which you would be discussing the crux, which is fears. Okay, so what are other useful tips? Write outlines smartly. Of course you should be doing it for every sort of essay, but here you have to be very careful. But the methodology and enumeration techniques for the outline are same. Okay, however, instead of focuses on causes, impacts and recommendations, you should present more and more arguments in favor of the stance that you have taken, just like argumentative essays. Okay, so the approach is, once you have understood the topic, you have decoded the topic, you have understood the topic, now you have to back it up. Okay, now you have to back your stance with arguments. Okay, these could be from anywhere, this could be from real life. I will be sharing an outline of such a topic with you in this lecture or probably next lecture, so that you know that how to approach a literary topic. Now don't just replicate that outline everywhere, because they often say that one size doesn't fit all. That is just to give you a feel as to how to go about attempting such topics. I mean, what are the basic things which you can think about whenever you are thinking about attempting a topic. So I will discuss it in this lecture or in the next one. So if the topic allows, you may go against it, okay, but only if you have extremely solid arguments supported with relevant evidence. So in case of literary topics and proverbial essays, it is difficult to go against it. But once again, there is no black and white rule that you can't go against the stance which is being presented by the examiner. Moving on, give an impressive introduction. Okay, you can just read it, that what you have to make clear in the introductory paragraph, just like any other essays, but specifically in this essay, is that you have fully comprehended the topic and are fully aware of what your stance is going to be. Okay, you have to convey it to the examiner that you are fully aware of these two things. Since examiners read the introductory paragraph with incisive meticulousness, it should be exquisitely crafted using suitable vocabulary. Now remember, I have highlighted in red color the word suitable vocabulary. I'm not saying that you should be using some difficult Victorian English, which is which even you don't know what it means. And don't just trap yourself in these sort of silly mistakes. Use suitable vocabulary. I mean, that sort of vocabulary which is hitting the theme or the crux of the topics. Okay, so that is what is needed in your introductory paragraph, in your outline, and even throughout your essay. Use suitable vocabulary which is suited to the topic, which is relevant to the topic. Let's suppose if you're attempting a topic on economics, then your vocabulary should be, you have some jargons at your disposal. So it's never recommended, it's not needed that you just squeeze in sort of some crammed up words, difficult words. No, if this sort of vocabulary is coming naturally to you, I mean, your level of English, or the way you grasp the English is such that these words come naturally to you, then it's fine enough. But don't try to squeeze in difficult words just because you have crammed them and you don't know the context in which to use those words. So that is a note of caution. Provide quotations and references. Okay, so this is once again useful for all other essays, but here you can quote philosophers, writers, poets, if you have, once again, a big if, and the word relevant quotes in your mind. So don't put in irrelevant quotes despite the fact that it is a literary or a proverbial essay. Only write if the quotes are relevant. Okay, because writing irrelevant will harm you, but not writing the quotes will not harm you if you have written rest of the essay correctly. Okay, moving on, that is it for today, I guess. I hope today's topic was useful for you insofar as how to dissect the literary or proverbial essays. Okay, because the most difficult thing in literary and proverbial essays is to understand the crux of the topic. What is the topic about? On the face of it, it looks, all clear that you understand the proverb and all that. But, when you dwell deep, when you dig in, then only then you find out that, okay, can you write, on the topic 2,500 words? That is the most critical thing about literary and proverbial essays. And only by brainstorming, after you have understood the keywords, you can know that you can write 2,500 words. Okay, so the techniques I told you, that how to brainstorm and all that things. In the next lecture, I'll be discussing with you a sample outline of a literary or a proverbial essay. I'll be choosing a proverbial essay because these sort of essays, literary and proverbial essays, are the approach is same. Okay, you take a stance and you defend it. So I will be just sharing a sample of one, so that you know that if you are on the exam day choosing a topic like this, how to go about generally. Okay, of course topics, outlines will differ from topic to topic, but that will give you a sense that how to approach these topics, what are the requisite things which you should be putting in these topics. So until next lecture, goodbye and Allah Hafiz.